All right, everybody, let's hope this thing all gets worked out here, but we're counting down here where commuters could be bracing for the worst. Today, marking day 9 of the countdown towards a looming strike for the Long Island Railroad workers. The MTA sat down at the bargaining table with union reps on Thursday, and the union made counteroffer, and it looked like there was some hope here, but no deal yet reached, and as both sides work to hammer out a deal, we're all looking at the clock. Rail riders bracing for this. This the scene if you go back to 1994 when the LIRR conductors and maintenance workers went on strike early. More than 100,000 rush hour commuters, they had to find alternate transportation, packed onto crowded subways and gridlocked highways. It was not a pretty scene. It gets even worse if you go back to 87. They also hit the picket lines then, and they were off the job for just under 2 weeks. 11 days of hell, somebody called it. Now, we could soon see the same scenario play out, although I don't think we will. This time, the MTA's rolled out a commuter contingency plan. Let's go over to Samantha Liebman, who tells us what it'll look like.
As the MTA and Long Island Railroad unions continue contract talks, the agency now has a plan to deal with commuters should a strike occur July 20th, one that LIRR officials estimate can accommodate at least 32,000 commuters, a far cry from the 300,000 who usually use the LIRR daily.
I don't want to suggest this will be easy. That's why we're undergoing an aggressive campaign with businesses to allow their employees to telecommute.
So far, the MTA says they've gotten commitments to allow 18,000 employees to do so. In addition, there will be 7 shuttle bus pickup locations to take 15,000 commuters to Queens subway stations. An additional 1,000 can take 3 round-trip ferries from Glen Cove to 35th Street, park and rides at Aqueduct and City Field for 7,000 commuters to take the subway, with 7 more lots on the island for carpooling. The Long Island Expressway HOV lane will require 3 passengers, and all the information will be provided in real time via apps and the MTA's website, including how many spots are available in each lot. It will also provide information on private lots near subways. Officials say a big difference from 1994 when there was limited internet and no Google.
The MTA set up a network of shuttle buses that handled approximately 7,000 people. There were no suburban park and ride lots, no ferries, no real-time monitoring of situations, and there was no telecommuting. Now Long Islanders have far more options.
And so far, the plan is receiving praise from both county executives.
This plan is far more comprehensive than previously proposed contingency steps, especially ones offered in the past, such as in 1994.
But for riders, it's a different story.
Doesn't sound like that's going to work very well.
Hopefully it won't happen, and hopefully I can get to work on Monday without a problem.
It couldn't be a bigger disaster.
20,000 will work from home. What are you going to do about the 300 other thousand?
Now, the MTA says this plan doesn't take into account the many more people they believe will make alternate arrangements to stay in the city, but they hope that this plan doesn't have to be implemented. This, as they say, talks will continue, but no new date for them has been set. I'm Samantha Liebman reporting from Penn Station for RFL.
All right, Sam. Chili, let me ask you heard Congressman Bishop says he thinks there'll be a deal. Tell the audience the significance. I don't know why we went to Congress in the first place to ask them. They're not going to do it. The governor getting involved, why does that matter here?
Well, I think the governor, having appointed the MTA board and obviously the state being a tremendous financial contributor to the success or the failure of the MTA, has a vested interest in this thing being resolved. And I actually, you know, I am a believer in Governor Cuomo. I believe that he will see that resolving this, if they can't resolve it on their own, is in the best interest of both the city of New York, the region, which is really the economic driver for the state of New York, and the workers too. So I'm confident at the end of the day, the governor will help sort of nudge them along, and his father did 20 years ago, apparently get on the phone and yell at a few people and push them along the way. And
Martin Act works for cops and firefighters. It doesn't obviously work for this. Do you think it should?
Oh, you don't mean the Martin Act. You mean the
Taylor Act. I'm sorry, Taylor Law. Excuse me.
The Taylor Law. No, I think this is different. It's not technically government. It's a quasi-public authority. I think you're forcing both people to the table. The consequences of a strike are grave, and everyone knows it, including the union. So I'm hopeful, as you are, that at the end of the day, before the end of the day, we get to a solution.
Dom, it seems there's a pretty good offer that the MTA made here. 17% of refuse. I know there's concessions for the new guys coming on board, but usually that's an easier sale, you know, because the old guys, what do they care? But I guess part of the problem is historically you got multi-generations that work in this, and so dad's looking out for his son or daughter that are coming on the job. So you got a vibe, though? You've seen enough of these things.
I've seen enough of these things, and it is my strong prediction there will be no strike. You're looking at posturing by the unions. They're playing to membership. We're fighting for you. We're willing to walk out. If they've already agreed on 17%, and the only difference is whether it's a 6-year deal that the MTA wants or a 7-year deal, it's close enough, and it's a matter of health care. There will be no strike. And then not an election year with Governor Cuomo.
Setting up very nicely for Governor Cuomo to swoop in, but Wednesday, Thursday maybe, save the day, or save the day, as our Republican
All I'm saying
friends
is
might say.
I think you guys are all right, but God forbid they don't work this thing out. It would be a complete mess.
Election year, Richard. It'll be worked out.
Magically as that happens. All right, head over to Facebook and Twitter to sound off on our question. Who would you blame if there is a strike here, the union or the MTA? Or Dominic Carter? Yeah, that's maybe a good choice. Coming up next, we're going to head to New York, where, speaking of the governor, he's leading big in the polls here. And is a third-party challenger going to have any kind of a headache for this governor? Plus, our guest here is working on a really important program I want to spend some time on, too. Stay with us.